So, do we owe our existence to a supernatural God, or do we owe our existence to the laws of nature? In today's video, we're going to provide you with an easier way to figure out the theism versus atheism controversy. Studying the dictionary definition of nothing is how we are going to resolve this dispute at the most foundational level. Hi, my name is Todd, and welcome to Mission Millennial Z Alpha Generations, where we share the other side of the creation story with today's youth. Now, to test one theory with another for determining what caused a particular event, scientists often look for which theory has more explanatory power. Now, remember that phrase. If a theory has no explanatory power, you can mark it off the list as the cause of a particular historical event. The event under consideration today is the beginning of the universe. Most scientists teach that the universe, that is all time, space, and matter, came into existence at the Big Bang beginning out of literally nothing. Even multiverse proponents. Now, multiverse proponents are those who teach that there are trillions of unseen, unverifiable universes. Many of them even believe that the multiverse had an ultimate beginning way back before the Big Bang. So, ultimately, the universe is derivative, not fundamental. As Richard Dawkins succinctly put it, the universe evolved out of literally nothing. So, is nothing evolving a good explanation for our existence? Let's look up the word nothing and get to the bottom of it. So here is Merriam-Webster's dictionary's definition of nothing. 1A, something that does not exist. 1B, the absence of all magnitude or quantity, or some put it the absence of anything. If there's an absence of anything, there is nothing, okay? There's a lot of equivocation that some atheists make over this word, but it's very simple to understand. And C makes it super easy to understand. Nothingness, non-existence. So I use non-existence and nothing interchangeably. In fact, in my debate that I posted on YouTube, the Theism versus Atheism debate challenge 20, and I have my 20-minute first speech here. In this debate speech, I dwell on the word nothing in one of my arguments. I base my argument on this definition. And here is the four arguments I actually use. So in number one, the nothing disproves naturalism argument for God's existence, an adaptation of the cosmological argument. That's where I get into the definition of nothing. But I don't just limit myself to one argument. I have four arguments in this particular 20-minute speech. Number two, the fine-tuning argument for God's existence, which is probably even more persuasive. 3, the DNA information origin of life argument for God's existence. And 4, the a fortiori argument for God's existence. Now, let's go to my debate speech where I give a few excerpts where I dwell on the word nothing. And this is called the surely nothing disproves atheism argument. Gottfried Leibniz asked the most profound question of all time. The first question that should be asked is, why is there something rather than nothing? Atheists like Richard Dawkins say literally nothing is ultimately responsible for our existence. The fact that life evolved out of nearly nothing, some 10 billion years after the universe evolved out of literally nothing, is a fact so staggering that I would be mad to attempt words to do it justice. Fact? It's axiomatic that non-existence, by definition, which we just went over, can't evolve into or produce something because there's not anything there to do so. Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The bare assertion, pun intended, that non-existence somehow fathered everything, starting with a fantastically finely tuned universe, is so extraordinary it smacks of a bizarre supernaturalism. That is, far beyond the ability of observed natural processes. At least God, now notice I have this underlined so you can't misunderstand this. At least God. I'm not saying God's proven just by this one thing, but I'm saying at least God has something that naturalism doesn't. At least God, by definition, is not explanatorily bankrupt, being an entity possessing the necessary attributes, for example, power, creativity, intentionality, sufficient to produce sophisticated systems like the two goats. Now, in the context of my debate speech, the goats are the creation of the universe and intelligent life. Now, here's the challenge. My whole video centers in on this one challenge. Can my opponent name one creative attribute or potentiality of non-existence, aka nothing, responsible for the existence of the goats, the creation of the universe and intelligent life? If not, this debate is over based on this one head-to-head explanatory power comparison alone. Of course, we have more than just this one comparison. Now, some atheists are chafing at the bits. Some agnostics are chafing at the bits as they're listening to me. They're saying, but what if the universe is past eternal? Good point. And I cover that in my debate speech. Or will he postulate a mindless, omnipotent, past eternal universe contrary to the second law of thermodynamics? This law teaches that the useful, life-giving energy of our universe is running down like a battery, slowly going dead. If the universe was past eternal, as a minority of scientists argue, we wouldn't be alive, as our universe would have suffered heat death many trillions of years ago. Now do this mental time machine exercise yourself. You can't go back one day at a time for millions and billions and endless trillions of years, on and on for infinity, and ever turn around and come back to today if there is no beginning. In short, we would never have arrived at today if there were an infinity of yesterdays. I will give the last word on this matter to renowned atheist Alexander Vilenkin, a multiverse advocate, who states, quote, all the evidence says that the universe had a beginning. The Bohr, Guth, and Vilenkin theorem states, quote, with the proof now in place, cosmologists can no longer hide behind the possibility of a past eternal universe, end of quote. And if you can't hide behind a past eternal universe, you have to face up to the truism that surely from nothing, nothing comes. That leaves a supernatural God who transcends the temporal material universe as the past eternal something that created the temporal something of the material universe in which you and I live. Yes, I'm clinging to him because he is the best explanation for why there is something rather than nothing. So why would you want, my dear atheist or agnostic friends, to cling to nothing? So I'll leave it at that. I'll be curious to see what your comments are. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and pass it on to others who may benefit from this information. We'll see you in the next video. And if you want, watch the debate. I'll link it in the description and on the end screen. Bye-bye.